there have been reports around the office that you have been talking baby talk.
Why would people say that?
Well, I have it on good authority that you said the following. You read that back to me?
Andy have a boo-boo tummy.
Mm-hmm.
He calls turtles shell beavers.
Well, that's what they should be called.
They're green. Yeah. Beavers are brown.
Definitely, we've had this argument, and we've agreed to now talk about it in front of
us.
It's the Al Travis Show, and I'm really excited to have our next guest on. He's Wilk Wilkinson, Director and Media Systems and Operations for Braver Angels, the nationwide organization. You hear ads for Braver Angels on this show. We love the organization. We love what they stand for. We love what they're trying to do. And literally after what happened with Charlie Kirk yesterday, Wilk, you got a hold of me. We got back and forth, and I wanted to make sure you were on the show today. I don't know if braverangels.org has come up with its official stance or what you stand for on this. Are you talking for them? Are you talking for just the guy who I like your attitude? I don't want to put you in a box with your boss.
I would say both, Al. And
okay.
First of all, let me just express how grateful I am that you allowed me to come back on the show today. I appreciate it, man.
No, this is exactly the times we need Braver Angels. We need the folks to sit up and speak, and I don't care what your truth is, but you put it out there and realize we've got to fix something. So Charlie Kirk gets assassinated yesterday. Strange stuff. Instantly goes out, and the world will figure this all out as it goes. MSNBC said quite positive, had a guy come on and say, well, possibly it was one of his own people who was just celebrating and took a shot, and was like, what in the world are you talking about? Others coming out saying, it has, it's his politics. Wilk, you're sitting on a college campus asking folks to come and discuss, have open dialogue, and the people come up to the microphone, whatever you want to talk about. It's not like you have to talk about this one thing because I'm a master. He asked everybody to come up. This should be what every college wants, isn't it? And yet somebody takes offense so bad they shoot him. Your thoughts on just the idea that freedom of speech in America is under assault?
Freedom of speech is under assault, Al, and we, the people, must stand up and demand better of each other, of the people in our media, of the people in our elected officials that are elected to represent us. And yeah, I mean, to your point, Charlie Kirk was one of those people who we should be celebrating as somebody who was courageous enough to engage in the public square with people who disagreed with him and disagreed with him vehemently, and did so in a nonviolent way. I mean, he preached nonviolence. He talked about our words being the way to prevent violence. Yeah. And while Charlie Kirk was not somebody that I followed religiously, this stands as more than the assassination of one man. Al, this is more about an assault on one of the most cherished things that this country stands for, and that's our ability to speak freely. I mean, if we lose, especially on our college campuses, and this is a point that cannot be overstated, our college campuses have to be a bastion for free thought and an open dialogue. If we lose that in this country, Al, we have lost our country.
It is so wild. 83, 84, something like that. University of Minnesota, the center campus area there, they have these, cement steps, if you outline the rose gardens and that thing. And every Friday, there be people literally standing on that soapbox, just spewing out the craziest. My buddies and I would go down just to listen to people spew off stuff like, you got to be nuts. It was entertaining. It was enlightening. It was what it was all about, because one guy would be standing on this one, next one over here, complete opposite. People were just having discussions on whatever topics. And now you see that going on. And this hasn't happened for a long time. You see a Charlie Kirk get momentum 3,000 people. We never had that at the U, by the way. There'd be 10, 20 of us standing around, never 3,000. But 3,000 people. I was actually looking to see if I can go to a show that's coming up here. Well, was going to come up here in about 12 days. Only because I didn't follow him religiously, but my kids did. But when I watched, I loved the fact that he was a very religious man. He could cite biblical verses, word for word. I don't know if he had a photographic memory or not. Or if he was talking to somebody like at Cambria University in England, he'd go, did you ever read Tolstoy and whatever? He could just, whatever he read, he seemed to really understand it. I would have loved to hear him in person, and now it's not there. Your thoughts on what's changed? I'm talking too much. I'm liking this. I don't know where you were at when Reagan got shot. Do you recall?
I was in grade school when Reagan got shot. That is not a time I have strong recollections of, but I've seen videos and I've gone back and.
For me, it was, and I used this. My wife, my mom. When I got home, they told us at school everybody went home. We watched the news that day. The rest of the next 3 hours, whatever, till bedtime. It's the first time I remember my mother like crying. She was visibly upset because we don't do this in America. She was not since JFK, which of course 20, 30 years before that. So, I mean, they've done it before, but she's like, this is not who we are. I never had a political conversation with my parents. This did it. And I wonder if this Charlie Kirk shooting isn't this generation's version of that. They are going to have to digest this somehow. Either you're pro Kirk or you're not. You're going to have to say, hey, I may not have liked Kirk, but I can't get behind shooting people. Is this a tipping point, or is it just another thing in the long list of political shootings and attempted shootings and that sort of thing? Somebody shot at the president, a year ago.
Yeah, well, two people. There were two attempted assassinations, and yeah, I mean, a lot of people are talking about how this harkened back to memories of 1968 in this country. Yeah. JFK has killed, Martin Luther King is killed. Yep. Bobby Kennedy is killed in that same time period, right? And as we're thinking about these things, I mean, tipping point, I don't know. Is it a crossroads? I believe so. I mean, I think you make a great point, Al, when you talk about, is this going to spur conversations that may be uncomfortable with our children? I mean,
no.
I can think back to 9/11. Today's the anniversary of 9/11. 25 years
24.
ago, or 24 years ago today, excuse me. We had one of the worst attacks that we've ever had on our soil, and people having to learn how to navigate that particular conversation with their children, their friends, their family members. These times in history are the times where we have to look at things and say, is there something that we can do? Because this is not a time when we just want to surrender our agency as an individual and say, well, I can't do anything. I'm incapable of doing anything. That is not the case.
Let me ask you this. I love the analogy with 9/11. Of course, it's 9/11 today. I think a really weird difference is that happened and we fused together, right? If for at least some time, every American was like, this is not, you did not just do that to us, right? That was the feeling. I know you don't get to speak for all of America, but what is the feeling you have today, one day later? I mean, we knew the second plane hit, we were all in. And you know what I'm saying? It just whop. I don't know where we're at today. I'm not sure I'm feeling that same momentum. Do you?
No, I don't. I wish we could, and maybe in some way, I hope that we can. Charlie Kirk's life again is this is more than the murder of one man, more than a political assassination. This is an assault on our country, in the sense that we have for a very long time now been suffering from a sickness as a country. And that sickness, political violence is not the sickness; it's just another of many symptoms.
Yeah,
and the sickness is actually the fact that we've allowed the normalization of this apocalyptic rhetoric in our society, in our civil discourse. We've lost our ability to work through our differences in words and that's where we end up with the violence. We have to look at this as a crossroads in our country, Al, where we can actually look at this and say what we've been doing is not working, and we cannot fix it with the same thinking that got us here.
I love that sentiment. I got to go to break. I just absolutely love the idea. You're right. Apocalyptic talk. Maybe we never get to say you're all like Nazis, you're all fascists, or whatever, until you kill 35 million people. Then we just use that, and then it almost seems, I can hate him really bad. Well, we'll talk about it on the other side. Braver Angels, I love what you guys stand for. We'll talk about how do we as a society move this in the right direction. We'll talk about that coming up. I got Wilk Wilkinson from Braver Angels on the Al Travis Show.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise drowning out your conservative values? Take back the conversation with Braver Angels. Join a grassroots movement to restore civility and find common ground without compromising your principles. As a conservative, your voice matters. Share your perspective on issues like immigration and public health in Red Blue workshops and help rebuild trust in our great nation. Be a leader in depolarizing America. Sign up for free at mn.braverangels.org. Braver Angels, where conservatives, liberals, and independents unite for a stronger republic.
You need a friend at the Capitol who knows how to get things done.
And you're in luck, because that's exactly who we are, your friends at the Capitol, and we deliver results.
At Momentum Advocacy, we bring decades of experience in lobbying, public affairs, and crisis communications.
From local nonprofits to national corporations, we help you move policy, manage your media, and make your voice heard.
We're not just seasoned pros, we're essential partners.
Momentum Advocacy, your friends at the Capitol. Learn more at momentum-advocacy.com.
September 24th is Suicide Prevention on the Air Day in Minnesota. Every dollar raised supports SAVE, Suicide Awareness Voices of Education, providing education, advocacy, and programs that save lives. And on September 24th, your gift will go twice as far because every donation will be matched dollar for dollar. Visit save.org to see our work, learn how you can help, and donate. Remember, September 24th, because every voice can save a life. Are you kidding me?
You know that comment you said to the radio? The thing that we got wrong?
Clearly, Brussels sprouts are the worst vegetable.
Call us and let the world know your thoughts. 855-257-7469. That's 855-ALS Show.
We're lucky to have him. He's Wilk Wilkinson from Braver Angels, the national organization. You'll hear their ads here on the show. We love having them on. Love the idea of Braver Angels as a whole. He also does a podcast called Derate the Hate. Let me ask you this, sir. What is the next step for all of us? I enjoy having the other side on this program all the time. I don't remember the last time I got mad at anybody for their stance on anything. We don't shun anymore. Should we do some shunning? If you do a little dance jig on the X because somebody got shot, can I shun you like the Amish used to do? What do we got to do to move this in the right direction?
Well, I tell you what, Al. I mean, it takes a different kind of person to jump online and celebrate the murder, the assassination of a person. I mean, 100%. We have to remember that the young kids lost their father yesterday. A young wife lost her husband. You know, somebody lost a son, a brother. It takes an interesting person. Yep. To celebrate that kind of murder, but. I often have to ask myself, and not every venue is going to be the right venue to have those questions, but I often ask myself, and one of the things that we promote strongly, at Braver Angels is instead of just shunning somebody, let's try to find out how they got to where they are.
I like that.
Let's meet them where they're at and find out what their life experience was, because I have to imagine it's pretty tragic. It would take a pretty tragic life experience for somebody to get to a point where they're going to celebrate the assassination of somebody's father, somebody's husband.
See, I don't know if it isn't that, or it's the whole, if I do this, I get a lot of, clicks or whatever. I get that validation, and wow, everybody's, the weirder I get, the harder I put something out there, the more clicks I get, and there's that rush. I don't know if these people actually think through this that well. They just know by doing it, look at the clicks I'm going to get. It's a strange thinness in their life experience that I think is there. It's all about clicks.
It very well could be. I mean, there's a strange motivation, and I hate to ascribe motives to anybody for what they would do, but if their motivation for doing something so vile is to get clicks, and I mean, with the onset of this toxic internet ecosystem that so many of us spend so much time in, we've seen a lot of that, Al, where people will do stuff that they wouldn't otherwise do just for the sake of the attention that it gets them. I mean, that's a big thing with mass shooters and things things of the like, right? Is it's not. The evil act is rooted oftentimes in what kind of attention can I get, because I can't get attention in any other way. It's a horrific thing to think about, and it's a horrific thing that others would do. But the reality is if we're not having conversations and looking at people, this is where we get to as a society. Right, we come to this point in society because people have lost their ability to use their words and talk through their differences.
Let's do this then. What happens? BraverAngels.org. Go there and check them out. BraverAngelsMN.org if you want it, the Minnesota version. What do we got to do? What do you and I start doing tomorrow, Will, to try to make this thing churn? What is Braver Angels asking the rest of us to do?
Right. Well, one of the things that we have to do is we have to first ask ourselves a few questions, right? How can we as individuals turn down the temperature? Because I will tell you that the answers that we're looking for, Al, are not going to come out of Washington. They're going to come out of our own hearts. So what can I do today? What can I what can I do as an individual to turn down the temperature? And that's a hard question to ask, but we have to think about it. And then what am I modeling for my own community?
There you go.
This is tough. What am I modeling for my own community? And then this is the one that's most personal for me, Al. Mm-hmm. And this one hurts a lot, but I have to ask myself each day, what kind of country do I want my children to inherit? So there's a lot about this that hits very, very personal for me. Yeah. And not because I knew Charlie Kirk personally, but because of who I am as an American and the kind of country that I want to live in.
Yeah.
Again, Charlie Kirk doesn't have to be remembered for the words that he says or said. Mm-hmm. but the courage that he had to stand up as a courageous citizen in this country, to use a platform that he built, to have courageous conversations with people across divides. We don't have to agree with everything that he said, but the courage he had to say it. And we should be fighting as Americans for that right. Because without that right to say that, we just become subjects of a larger Leviathan in Washington, D.C. We need
100%.
to think back to ourselves as individuals.
100% agree. I'm going to let that be the last word as we're out of time. Wilk, I want you back on anytime you think it's appropriate. You come back, you let me know. I love what you guys are doing there at Braver Angels. I appreciate you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Go to braverangels.org.
Tired of one-sided media and divisive noise